Hey people, I got something to do today, but I don't think I'll be able to think straight till I get this movie made. This is the 11th commandment. It's the last line, in the Exodus 20 with the 10 commandments. And you see this is the base of the commandments here. This L-A and this next word beginning with a T or ending with an E. The L-A and the T and the E. And we'll look at it in these upper commandments. You see it up here in no carved images, the L-A and T. With this O-S-E, they give it the base word is make. And don't bow down to them, the L-A and the T. And you see it ending with the E, because it reads two different ways here, to let or less. And next one, the L-A-T. And not you shall take the name, L-A-T. And not you should work on the 7, the L-A-T, and end with the E. And the no murder, adultery, the let, L-A-T, L-A-T. And for y'all been watching that final P, I have reason to believe that it pronounces that L, and that's where the P and the L comes from in foul. And I believe that says let, null. And then no steal, to let, and the G-N-B, to nab. And not you shall bear, to let, and one. And you see it's got the tack and with the one. So in one way you're reading this, let one. Another way you read it, it's lest not one. And it means lest not one brought, broad, had suffer. The ones which you feed them. You brought them with you brought them kids which you feed them. Lest not one brought suffer. And not covet, the L-A-T. And you see how, they didn't use the tack here, and here's the tack followed by the same word, so this word does read both ways. And so it seems that, that's not the word for not, because, here they had to change up and all. And sometimes they'll say this is to, or God, or tree, for not here, and here, here's that all is to the same, and here, it's not. And it just started storming, so I believe this is what I need to do today. So best chances are it's talk about how to take down a country, and these are all the things you let them do to take them down. And so they just reverse yes and no, same as in the Greek where nay means yes. So I was reading this next paragraph after the commandments, and I got to the bottom of it. And I noticed that they really flipped the meaning of this word this time. Usually they say it means oppressed, and the men of Israel were oppressed. You see it here, 1 Samuel, and the men of Israel were distressed. Same word, N-I-G-G-A-S, in the day that they were placed under oath. And you see it don't matter what vowel they stick in there, A, a I, or a O. They'll give it the taskmaster or the oppressor, the driver. So they really got that word flipped around. But what I'm seeing here is it's reading with this E here, and it's in gas, G-A-S, and so stood the people afar off, but Moses drew near. Is why amid, who amongst, who amid. And Ham, they'll say that's the people of Egypt, we're the Hamites, but that's spelt with the chet. But this is, has, H-A-S, who amid has rich, R-C-H, the rich, F-U-M, who amid them has rich fumes. If somebody stand amongst there has rich fumes, you stand afar off. Who amid them has rich fumes? In gas, all the orpal. I believe that's where your word purple coming from, the darkness when the clouds move in. Assures the seal his. And you see the tack here, when you read it with the line, it's all. And this is Pharaoh backwards, P-R-O-E. And actually means parole. P-R-O-E becomes an L-E, parole, to let out. In the gasol, L of parole, of let out. of repel, and asserm, ASR, and then backwards M, asserm, I asserm you, I tell you is the truth. Asserms is his allies, the sea, SEA, the sea allies. So I went to read the top of it to get a better idea. It's just a couple lines, but always at the first line, the paragraph, and the end, and you see that word that they used again here, and it looks like Morocco, is far off, or maybe where America comes from. It's the same letters down here, but it's split up in, fumes. You can see this isn't Moses, just end MSE. And this is Morocco down here. When you're going through the Straits of Gibraltar here, this is all Morocco south of you. And they're said to rank 83rd in gas production, but is sitting on more than 20 trillion cubic feet of natural gas reserves, which is a record. And so the writer, he is probably sitting up there in Spain, looking down upon Morocco. This stood far off and draw near. And I believe it's even going to call them out and use the word Spanish in here somewhere. But this starts here with a kleos, Nkleos. Kleos, that's like the Greek word for glory. I think it's coming from like the Egyptian word for your for your reputation, renown, or glory, what others hear about you. And first used in Homer's epics. And so Odysseus' son was concerned about his father may have died a pathetic and pitiable death at sea rather than a reputable, gracious one in battle. Reputation and grace. And the whole story is about gaining the ultimate kleos, the ultimate reputation, the ba, on the battlefields of Troy. But this American professor says is coming from kluin, which means to hear. And the same as Old Irish, to hear. And Old Greek is a lot closer to English. And that also fits with reputation, what's heard about you. And call those, THEOS. And this word, it reads like this, and with this tack here is to call in the MO. The MO of those. MO is, their job title. And so to go with another word like raise, RAYS. And kleos raise, and heard raise at the fault. The fault, what help, ELP. What help and yards, what help hands. And what help hands, the lightning flashing. What help hands, what foolish, for what here, EER, what here, the ocean where. What foolish, what here, the ocean where. It sounds like old conch shell, you put it up to your ear to hear the ocean. The sound of a trumpet conch shell. The foolish for what here, the ocean where. And where is the AE reading was the ES here. Where is as who, why meaning how or who now. Where is who now? Who amid a rock. Who amid a rock. Up amongst the rocks. And after reading the last line in this chapter, it lets me know this is the erosion. The erosion where the mountains smoking when saw it. The erosion where. And it's talking about eros down there. And so the word, modus operandum, MO is where that comes from. And it's actually in call and from OL. The OE becomes the OLE from all of those. And call from all of those, meaning that type of, not the people, that type of. Call from all of those, raise it, the fault. The ones that raise the fault, the ones going to step up and say, there's a problem here, I screwed this up. And what help hands, what foolish for what? What's the erosion where? What the erosion where is as who now, where the erosion is who now, and who amid 'em a rock, and stand amongst a rock. And so it sounds like it's an island far off, the rock of Gibraltar. And who tomorrow, who tomorrow, all 'em seed of her, all from SEDVR, all from seed of her 8, a menu of the menu, all 'em seed of her 8 of menu, when sim, the SM is the name, the shame, the similar, when shame all who allied in the Rome, ROM, in the Roman knew, the ally spenum, SPN, the double N gives it an IM, the spenum what. And so this word, lest we die, this is coming from the Egyptian, the fent, the PHN, and the tat hadn't read backwards, fent. It's where the word defense, fence, fencing, sword fighting, all that comes from. It's drawn as a sword in Egyptian. And, that's what Spain is. Spain was the fence to, the SPN, the spenum what. And the Spain was the defense to keep the Muslims, from coming across at the Rock of Gibraltar. That was the defense, the fence, and that's the ones who defend them, the phenom what. And you can see this word for we die is actually coming from read backwards, the tomb, T-U-M, the tomb in them what. Put you in a tomb, T-U-M-N-M-U-T, the tomb in them what, where the dead is. And yammer, or who says, and who hammer, and who says from the seal, S-C-A-L, from the seal those, all tire of, not do fear, but all tire of getting old, all tire of kill, K-I-L, a barber, B-O-B-U-R-N-S, the barbarins, what, attack, A-T-K-S, attacks in the A-E reading is the E-S, attacks is allies of over, O-V-R, this is the base word for Hebrew here, the over T. When the war is going on, it's usually just the kings, and it's over T that they decide it's time to go to war over, and that may be and the gods that may be, and the allies of over T, the irate, not fear but matter in hell, and the irate to all panics, P-N-I-K-S, all panics of blight, B-L-T-I, of blight that of, so that not you may sin, a blight, a stain on your record, the blight that of. Who amid those from rich fumes in gas, all the of, E-O, the of repel, assures seal, assures, you might read that from the allies, assures the seal, S-C-A-L-H-I-S, assures seal his. And that was up higher when it was talking about the word from the seal, and who the word why ammer, the word from the seal, S-E-A-L. And so just like the rest of the Bible, the Hebrew and the Greek, we have words today that we think niggas means black, and there'll be a word beside it that they'll say that word comes from the thick darkness, the purple. And this mostly comes from them trying to change the meaning of the words. But a lot of it comes from the poets, putting the words and put them in fashions where they will change meaning. But this last line tells off, and I was telling you it was talking about erotic, your nakedness, the erotic. And that comes from eros, and that's also the rose, to keep secret and not maybe expose your nakedness on it. It's talking about keeping the secrets here. And let all, OLEVM, and let all of them molt. Molt means, to come out your shell. A crab coming out of his shell. And let all of them molt. All of them's bitchy. All of them's bitchy. The ones who's got something to say. Up here where it says, those, and call those the rays at the fault. The ones that's going to come on up on the altar and pitch a bitch. This altar is up there where the politicians are standing. And let all of them molt, and let all of them come out. All of them's the bitchy. Assure let gel. And that's and to uncover the nakedness, where your word Gillette comes from. And gala, and let come out there and expose theirself, the erotic. And it's actually reading as a D or a T. The final K is the T or the D. We have a lot of people didn't know that, so the words evolved. They knew what the word meant. And so the K on the end of erotic is probably evolved in there. But, to let the gala erotic allow, that's what they're trying to do in the libraries now. They got a naked gala going on. It's just another way of how to destroy a country and let the gala, the erotic, allow. You see the erotic collie here. And collie, that's the black. Cali was the black and the good. And when it's talking about molt, it's probably talking about the snakes coming out their skin. And let all of them molt. All of them's bitchy. Assure let gala the erotically of. So I'm starving to death. Let me go eat. And I'll put that last line, these 24, 25, 26 is this last altar sacrifice. I'll put it in another movie. It might get too long if I try to put it on here. I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.